Okay, so the article that I chose was this one from the Psychiatry and Behavioral Health Learning Network, and it's about cyberbullying and how it has been linked with a range of mental health illness. So the website looks pretty credible. There's a lot of companies that are under this learning network, and the article cited doctors and everything. So the first thing that I did was I looked up the author, which was Terry Arov. Um, so there wasn't a ton on Terry Arov. It was kind of a little bit sketchy just because there wasn't a lot of information on him. But what I did find was that he has nothing to do with psychiatry or anything medical. He's a digital content strategist, whatever that means, and that was the same thing on his LinkedIn. So that was one of the first red flag of this source. So I went back to the original website and saw that it was under this whole broad company, which is Healthcare Made Practical. So I looked them up. I looked at the first whole page was just websites that were affiliated with that company itself, so you can't necessarily trust that. So I eventually found a source that wasn't affiliated with them, and this company seems pretty legitimate. When I read through this, it just talks about how they are associated with medical professionals, and they have a lot of leadership meetings around the world, and overall this itself seemed pretty credible. So going back to the article, I looked at this doctor, Samantha B. Saltz, because her words were quoted a lot throughout the article. So looking her up, she is a psychiatrist, so that's true that she's a doctor. She seems pretty credible. There's a lot about her. You just keep going through, and she seems to focus a lot on adolescent mental health and cyberbullying, so that she seemed pretty credible, and other sources were citing her. The next thing that I did was the references were both from the American Psychiatric Association in their meeting, so I went to their website, and it seemed pretty credible. I mean, lots of leadership meetings, a lot of all the psychiatrists. But then I kind of was clicking around and I found under impact, it was a faith-based guide, which isn't too much of a red flag, but sometimes it can lead to biases in their work. If you're working with a religion, that might influence it. So I looked them up, and the first few pages seemed pretty good, but once I got to the second page, if you can see here, you've got some articles about some controversies around their view on homosexuality. So I was kind of clicking on these, and it just showed that they originally thought it was a mental illness, and it just seemed sketchy there. So that was a potential bias that could be impacting it. So overall, I would rate this a yellow for caution because the author didn't have much credibility in the field, and the references that they were quoting from this association had some more conservative bias in their views, even though some of the main organization was credible.